There is a brand new article out in Business Insider that is absurd. This article is a profile, a hit piece, whatever, an analysis of Spring Health. Spring Health is a company that has built a $2 billion valuation, mental health startup, by a founder who is 29 years old. This founder is a female who has been on an absolute tear, building a $2 billion company in a very short period of time. Now, before we get into what my problem is with the article, I first want to explain some of what's in it. There is a title that says April Coe built a $2 billion mental health startup by age 29. So obviously really playing into a young person built a really successful business. But in some of the analysis, we have reporters that are saying things like Spring Health offers therapy and coaching as a corporate benefit to clients, including General Mills, PepsiCo, and Instacart. They've built impressive financial numbers, but they also have problems underneath. So what are those problems? Some of their employees say that they experienced a pressure cooker environment in which they worked nonstop and under close scrutiny. That feeling fueled dozens of departures. To some, the always-on, work-first lifestyle that has long defined startups no longer seems so alluring or even sensible when it stood in direct opposition to the prescriptions for happiness that their startup itself is selling. And many told me, speaking about the reporter, that they were worn down, Malia Russell, that they were worn down by what they described as a hard-driving, growth-at-all-costs approach by a young chief executive who appealed to their idealism while her startup's mission, but at times seemed blind to their basic needs. Here's my problem, is that they went and they wrote this entire article about a technology startup. And basically what the claim is there's a young female founder who built a $2 billion company, and people at the company said that they had to work hard. That's essentially what this is. Think about that for a second. We have tech workers that are complaining about working hard. They couldn't find hard work if they were looking for it with a flashlight in daytime. What do I mean? Hard work is not going to your corporate office, working on your Apple laptop, getting free snacks, and having somebody push you to be a better performer over your virtual messaging platform because you're too scared to have a one-on-one meeting with them where they might yell at you for bad performance or for not being productive. That's what work is. You go to work to be productive and they pay you to be there. That's why it's called work. It's literally in the name. It's work. If you don't want to work, then don't go get paid a cushy salary at your job. J-O-B. It's a job. My problem with this is not even so much that the reporters are doing something wrong. Look, the reporters basically go and they talk to a bunch of employees, and what they talk to the employees, maybe they have some sort of hit piece in mind. Maybe they don't. I'm not here to try to guess what a reporter has in mind. But what I do know is that when the tech workers are saying, oh, they worked us too hard, the reporter should literally be writing an article that says tech workers are soft, because hard work isn't going to that corporate office and working off your Apple laptop. Hard work is actually being a single mother, trying to support 2 kids while working 3 jobs. That's hard work. Hard work is going and doing manual labor at a construction site for 12 hours. And when you get home, you're so tired that you can't even eat. Hard work is literally immigrating to this country and 30, 40 years old, not knowing the language and trying to build a brand new life for yourself. Those are situations where people work hard. Hard work is not playing on your computer for too long. And anyone who's trying to say, oh, I got paid this really cushy salary and I literally benefited from being there and they worked me too hard, quit. Nobody's holding a gun to your head saying that you have to work there. Quit. But the problem is that we've weaponized complaining in our society. The more that people complain, the more power they get. The more that the media gives them air and gives them momentum. Worked hard? Literally, there are millions and millions and millions of Americans who would beg to have your job. And if you're too arrogant and stupid and privileged to think that your hard work at your corporate job, working on your Apple laptop, isn't good for you, quit and give it to one of the millions of Americans who would be thrilled to take your place. Because ultimately what we're finding is that people don't actually understand what hard work really is. And to say that, oh, I went and worked at a company that went from nothing to $2 billion in valuation, of course it's going to be hard. Of course you're going to have to work long hours. Of course you're going to have to be diligent and productive. That's why the company is successful. The best companies in the world understand you hire great people and they produce great work. People don't sit around at the water cooler and complain, oh, we're working too hard, or complain, wow, I can't believe that they're making us do this. No, in fact, it's the exact opposite. People show up to work every day and they say, what's the job that needs to be done today? And then they get to work. And then once they're done with that task, they ask, what's the next thing that needs to get done? And they have a unquenchable thirst for more work. Those are the people that companies want to hire because those are the same people who go in with an owner's mindset. These employees, they have equity in the business. They're part owners in a business, but yet they still are complaining. Somebody yelled at me on Slack, or somebody literally made me work too hard. Again, you didn't work at a construction site where you literally were doing manual labor. You're not a single mother of 2 kids working 3 jobs. Stop complaining. Nobody cares. Get back to work or go get a new job. And we should stop celebratizing this stuff and stop weaponizing the complaining of hard work and then turning around and saying it. From what I understand from the article, nobody's accusing anybody of breaking the law, of doing anything that is unethical, or anything that would normally be considered as bad. It's literally just people saying they worked us too hard. Pretty crazy stuff. Joe, John, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I was pretty frustrated with a lot of other people when I saw the article. I think it's interesting because you shouldn't accept a job like this and not be expected to work hard or be pushed or to feel like you're insecure in your job and all this other stuff, right? Like that's literally what you are signing up for. You're signing up for a high-paying job at a tech startup. And that's literally what comes with that territory. So tech startups are hard, right? Any startup is hard. Building any successful startup is hard. Making a big startup is obviously very difficult, but building a $2 billion startup, that's nearly impossible, right? When you think about the odds of that. So obviously there are some things going on there that aren't normal workplace culture. I think that is understood by just about everyone, but I also think it should be understood by just about everyone taking that job, that should be expected of them, and they should understand that. And I just think like you have other options, right? If you're going to complain about it, go get another job. No one is forcing you to do that. No one is forcing you to go in there and work extended hours or do things you don't want to do, right? I think what you need to figure out if you're in that position is, can I go get a job that maybe requires me to work less time? Maybe you make less money, but that's your problem, right? Like these are jobs that you're being offered. These are jobs that you are willfully accepting. And I think everyone at that company needs to just take a step back and say, hey, is this really what I want to do? Because I'm sure as the CEO of that business, they would rather them step back and say, hey, maybe this isn't what I want to do, than have someone half-ass commit, do a bad job and complain to other people.
I'm indifferent about this reporter actually putting out this report, right? She is just reporting on what people are telling her. She did not work at the company, all that stuff. Business Insider is a conversation of its own, what they've been writing recently. But it's that owner's mindset, right? When you go in and know that what I do directly affects how I get paid, you work a little bit differently. And people saying that I have a supervisor, yes, that's how companies work. It's tiers of people, and you get supervised because they want to make sure that you're actually producing work. And I believe that a lot of these employees that are complaining, most likely, if they were the actual CEO of the business, they would think that themselves are being lazy by what they're producing for work. So I don't really see any merit in it. Look, you agree to the work, you signed up for the salary. If it's not what you expected when you took the job, then you have the ability to quit. That's kind of why you have that ability. You're not trapped there. And also find something you enjoy doing, and you will never work a day in your life, right? That is what everyone's always been told. And look, it's work if you deem it work. If you find it and you enjoy it, it's not actually work. It's more fun for you.
Yeah, and I think the big piece here is that there's an entire world where people literally are starting to believe that this stuff is hard. I've worked many of these jobs, right? I believe John and Joe both, as well as me, we've worked at grocery stores, we've worked at fast food chains, we've worked at ice cream shops. Shout out John, hitting it with Cold Stone. Like we've worked the service industry jobs, right? I was in the military. I worked at a large tech company, right? We understand. Joe worked at a bank, right? John worked at an analytics startup at a company that was growing very quickly, et cetera. And so when you look at this, we've worked in a number of these different roles. And guess what happens? There's people who enjoy it and people who don't. But if you are working in an environment where literally your complaint is that it's a hard charging environment, that isn't a shot at the company. The company is being successful. They're doing what is necessary. In order to get outsized outcomes, you have to give outsized effort. It's like a sports team coming together and saying, man, that coach really worked us hard, but you know what? We won the championship. The champions never complain about the work because they want to win. If you are more concerned about something other than winning, that's fine. Okay. But that might not be the place for you. And again, I don't think that people are sitting there saying, oh, this is, I think, Joe, you might have said it, that this is like people working at a warehouse or doing some sort of physical labor or something like that. You're working in an office environment and you're getting paid handsomely to do it. A software engineer right now, the average salaries for these folks, $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 in compensation a year. We're not talking about somebody who's getting paid $40,000 and being asked to live in a major metro and they can't afford how to live there. They're not being asked to do that stuff. And so I think that, again, it just goes back to we've got to call out this stuff when we see it. If you don't want to work hard, then it's not the right place for you. Then, okay, that's fine. But let's not weaponize that stuff. And instead, we should focus on the fact that people are going to have to work hard at a fast-paced environment like a startup that is trying to defy the odds. The odds are that you are going to fail. Of course, the task is hard. Do the hard work or stop complaining.